Wednesday gets there by as Principal Weems is back from the dead as Wednesday's spirit guide. And what voices are in your head? Mended Light.
Thought you could bury me. Think again.
I was sad when Weems died at the end of season 1 of Wednesday because I love Gwendolyn Christie and I wanted more of her, so I was so delighted that she returns as Wednesday's new spirit guide in season 2 of Wednesday. And I wanted to talk today about the people in your life whose voices are in your head. They could be still alive, but you don't talk to them anymore, but their criticisms or their complaints still nag at you, still eat at you. It can be people who are passed on whose praise and whose love carries you and sustains you. Or it can be people you've never met. I've read people's comments that they hear my voice in their head because they've consumed so much of the videos that I put out. But I want to talk about those voices and how to discern whether they're friend or foe, when they're helpful, when they're not, and how to push them out, silence them, or amplify them based on what your needs are. But first, let's take a look at what's going on with Wednesday.
Double, double, toil and trouble in the trees, and cold and cool with a baboon's blood. By the pricking of my thumbs, something wicked this way comes.
Oh my gosh, Catherine Zeta-Jones nailing that delivery of Macbeth. Luis Guzman's so funny in this.
How's our little cadaver?
The doctor suggested I read to her. I chose Macbeth. Nothing like death, despair, and dismemberment to try and snap her out of her coma.
Tish, come on. Denmark will still be rotten tomorrow.
Wrong tragedy, mon chéri.
Come on.
So Wednesday thrown out a window by a hide in the episode before this, in a coma, and wakes up to this.
Rise and shine, sleepyhead.
Principal Weems?
Ready for your sponge bath?
What ring of hell is this?
I love that line. What ring of hell is this? Tim Burton transition there. I know he doesn't direct every episode, but his fingerprints are all over the show.
Miss Adams. This isn't hell. But I understand the confusion.
If I'm not dead, then why are you here?
Because I am your new spirit guide. Surprise.
That's impossible. A spirit guide must be a relative.
Turns out we're 13th cousins. Twice removed.
Everyone's
There
related
has to be another option.
at the end of the day.
Your last spirit guide literally gave up her ghost to save you. Believe me, nobody was putting up their hand for this assignment.
And yet here you are.
The tantalizing prospect of tormenting you from beyond the grave was just too delicious to pass up. Now, you've certainly been a busy bee. Just to recap, you lost your psychic ability.
Only after I mastered it.
You lied to your one and only friend Enid Sinclair about her impending doom.
I was protecting her.
And the coup de grace, freeing Tyler Galpin, a homicidal hide, from a high-security psychiatric institution. Congratulations, Miss Adams. Your hubris has yet again made you the architect of your own demise.
I'm going to
I
unpack
didn't
that.
think death could make you any more condescending.
And your arrogance has only made you more insufferable.
Why don't you restore my ability so we both can go our separate ways?
Your ability is inextricably tied to who you are. You abused it.
You sound like my mother.
Sticks and stones. Except, I have no bones.
I'm done being
She's so
lectured.
Mary Poppins and perky.
Then wake up.
Your hubris has made you the architect of your own demise. If we stop, if we listen, if we reflect, if we meditate, if we are still, our conscience, the voice in our head, our highest and best self, or the voice of others, will come to us and help us to sort through what's going on in our lives right now. This is one of the reasons, by the way, that we need to make time for this. Before everyone had a smartphone, this kind of happened more naturally. We would have more downtime where we were bored, where nothing was going on, time to think. And now I fear that we spend a little too much time being stimulated, right? If we're driving, we're listening to music, we're listening to the radio. If we're in bed, we're doom scrolling. Even if we're talking to people, we're multitasking, we're on our phone. And it's costing us self-reflection. And it's costing us insight to solve our problems and to grow as people. Again, I love scrolling on my phone. I love listening to music, watching movies. I love all of these things. We need to be in balance. And Wednesday, you'll notice that you'd never watch a TV show or movie where you're watching characters do what you do in real life. You don't watch characters scroll on their phone for long periods of time because that's boring. And so we have these experiences vicariously through the characters. But what is this teaching us? We all have a Principal Weems. We all have a voice in our head that is alternately holding us accountable and holding a mirror up and perhaps being too critical, too harsh, or too condescending. One of these is healthy, one of these is not. One of these is guilt-based, one of these is shame-based. Guilt-based is just saying, hey, this is what you're doing that's not supportive. This is what you're doing that's hurting you and the people you care about. This is what you're doing that goes against who you say you want to be or who you believe yourself to be. And we can feel that guilt and redirect, change the behavior, and release the guilt because it did what it was there to do. The other is condescending, snide, and tells us that we're worthless, tells us that we're broken, tells us that we're deeply flawed. And that is shame-based, and that keeps us spinning. Now, it doesn't really work on Wednesday because I don't know that Wednesday is especially capable of feeling shame. I think the only one who can actually get under her skin like that is her mother. I think everybody else, she doesn't really care. But these voices, whether they represent someone else that we're remembering or just ourselves, it's important to question them. Not dismiss them, but to question them. That just because the voice in your head says something doesn't make it true. You've maybe heard me say, be careful not to confuse subjective perception with objective reality. Question the voice in your head. A lot of us have deep-seated beliefs about ourselves and the world around us and our relationships that come from these voices. So the ghosts in my head are childhood bullies. From the age of 5 to 15, these very important formative years, I was intensely bullied. And I was ridiculed and mocked, and the message was repeated to me every single day, at least every single school day, that I was pathetic, that I was a loser, that I was worthless, that I was ridiculous, that I was there to be laughed at, mocked, and beaten, frankly. It's a hell of a message to internalize during some very important formative years, and it affected me for decades. It may continue to affect me a little bit today, but I've done a lot of work through it, and the work that I've done through it is to question the voice in my head that says the real you is unlovable. The real you is pathetic. The real you is worthless. It was in part because of these childhood bullies that I spent a long time engaged in people-pleasing. Spent a long time engaged. And when I say it was because of those childhood bullies, I obviously internalized the messages and made choices from there. But the point is, how can I get people to like me? Who do I have to be so that I'm accepted? And that led to a lot of performance. That led to a lot of being fake. That led to a lot of giving people love and acceptance that I wanted for myself so that I could belong. And it led to me overcommitting myself and being dishonest about things because I didn't want to disappoint people. I stopped listening to those voices. I stopped listening to those voices when I embraced my worth is infinite. There's nothing anyone can say that can take it away. And recognized these were just kids. These were kids with underdeveloped brains or brains still developing who chose to treat me this way. But they are not the judges of my character, and they aren't accurate, really, judges of anything. And the more that I embraced that and stepped into who I am and what my worth is and giving myself that love and compassion, the more those voices died away. And I started to listen to another voice, which is the voice of my mother. Now, I had a healthier relationship with my mom than Wednesday does. I had a secure attachment with my parents. I was very loved and unconditionally accepted. The issue for me, unfortunately, is because I internalized those messages of my own worthlessness, instead of receiving my parents' love as indicative of my worth, I saw it as indicative of how great they were, that they could love someone, even someone like me. That's how great they were, and that's how awful I was. And as I let go of these voices from the past, as I let go of these ghosts, more and more these days, the voice I hear is my mom saying, "You give me a lot of joy, and I'm proud of you." You know, my mom passed away almost 20 years ago at the time of this recording. My dad's still alive. My dad tells me every time I talk to him that he's proud of me. And these are the voices that I listen to now, as well as my own voice. What I want to know from you, who is your Weems? Who is there in your head? And is what they're saying supportive? There is accountability in holding a mirror up, and then there is shaming. And how can you make that voice not shaming? Maybe if the person you're thinking of shamed you in real life, you may need to replace them with another voice, with another figure, or even your highest and best self. Because while we do need to hold ourselves accountable and we do need to assess what to work on and how to be different, shame has no place in our psychology. It is detrimental to our mental health. So who is your Weems? Who is your spirit guide? Do you believe that it's actually an ancestor, it's actually a loved one? Does your spirituality say that they're still around here helping? Or do you believe they're gone and that they are fully gone, but they live on in you and your memory and in the work that you try and do to honor them? Let me know in the comments below. And what do you think of Gwendolyn Christie's performance in season 2 of Wednesday? I'd love to know your thoughts. So I've got a whole Wednesday Gets Therapized playlist for you to enjoy. Link for that is going to be in the description. Until next time, folks, keep shining. We need your light.